Good morning, Rabbi Sai. It's Tu B'Shvat today. Lili Nishmasi Mimorosi Rusbas Mordechai. Sponsored by the MDY family. This is the Shloshim for Yerachmiel, Ben Yisroel. How time flies. Yisroel Gordon. Sponsored by Fishel in memory of Chaim, Shmooze, Ben Yitchak, Mordechai. Email to follow. Sponsoring for zechus, the Mordechai Sapoznick. Mordechai ben Beracha Avigayil should find the zivug, hagun, bekarov, mammesh. No, he's not engaged yet. You asked me for his resume. Different people. I'm not in charge of the resume. We have to get a guy in charge. You're right. I have to send out the resume. Anonymously from a very good friend who works together with Mordechai, Yitzi's pancake and salad dressing. And there's a little explanation to that soon.
What's the guy
Sponsored. Lili Nishmas.
Salad dressing store.
Because anonymous. Harav HaChasid. Lili Nishmas. Harav HaChasid. Reb Doiv ben Harav HaChasid. Reb Moshe Avigador Halevi. This is MDY Auerbach's father-in-law. I heard many, sitting next to Mendy, I heard many stories about his father-in-law. His father-in-law was a Ger Chassid who worked in the diamond industry. But he was a huge Talmud Chacham. He used to chazer mishnayos. He was a Eloi. He knew kol haTorah kula. People used to come to ask him questions all the time. When he didn't know an answer, Mendy told me this, he didn't know an answer, he couldn't work. He couldn't do anything. He would go mishuga. He would look up until he knew where it was. One of those people that Torah was everything by him. One of those Yidden we're talking about, a guy that worked, but he was a shtik Torah. So his neshama should have an aliyah. You're going to hear soon about. Refuah. This is somebody that listens to the shir every single day. Yisroel מאיר ben Dvora. Echav b'nei Chabura. He's having triple bypass surgery today. Should have Refuah Shelayma. So this is Fishel's sponsorship. He grew up a century ago in a small western Pennsylvania steel mill town of, over here, he didn't put it in Panovich, I'm not even going to attempt to say it, the Squain, something like that, and kept many mitzvahs as possible in World War II in the Pacific Theater with the United States 1st Cavalry. When he was honorably discharged, he stopped, or I think it said something else, but anyways, he was discharged. He stopped for Shabbos and continued afterwards home, where he showed up the next morning for Shachris as if nothing happened. After his retirement in the 80s, he was a regular at the Pittsburgh Cholei Daf Yomi. With the Beracha Avigayil, my mother built a frum home, a bastion of chesed, and married off my 5 sisters to Bnei Torah today. Children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren are doing the daf. Where? All over the world. Where in the world? All over the world. This is from Mr. Anonymous. So he's saying, a lot of people have asked, what does Mordechai Sapoznick do for a living? He runs the whole company over here. He makes sure it runs smoothly, and because of him, he could do the Daf Yomi. It's only because of Mordechai that I started to learn Daf Yomi. 2.5 years ago, I went to Mordechai Siyam Shas. So you're marrying somebody that already knows Shas. This is a big thing, to marry somebody that knows Shas. They finish Shas. And he was jealous. He was able to finish Shas, and I never did. He gave me the inspiration. A few months ago, I mentioned your shir to Mordechai, and he got hooked to it very quickly. Now Mordechai and I discuss your shir every day. And we also start off the day with, good morning, Rabbi Isa. I'm really happy that I have the privilege of having Mordechai run the company. Oh, so this is the owner of the company. I don't know. He just gave it away. I really hope that everyone in MDY, including myself, will be able to help him find the zivug, bekarov, mammesh. You know how amazing it would be if we made a shidduch because we spoke about it. P.S. Tu B'Shvat is a gula for shidduchim.
Mordechai's on right now.
Yeah.
So he should send his resume.
We have his resume somewhere. I think Yosef has his resume. We got to speak to Yosef. Do we have time to read an amazing email?
We read Mordechai's resume.
What time is it?
Let's read his resume.
What time is it now?
It's now 7:23.
Okay. I have an amazing email from Mordechai Chaim Karon. We'll have to read it a different time. Rabbi Sai, today's Daf Samaches. I found it amazing that today is 30 days before Purim. Shloshim Yom Koyim Machag. It doesn't really apply to Purim, but 30 days before any kind of Yontiv, we talk about the halachas, right? Hilchas HaPesach, really. In today's Daf, Purim is mentioned twice. I thought it's very, very interesting. Once actually is in Rashi only. Okay, fine. Another real quick note, there's somebody on this block, he's a Rebbe in a yeshiva katan, I believe. His name is Rabbi Yehuda Nisan. I had the zechus 3-4 years ago, every single year, the one day of the year that it's his day, everybody has their yantiv, a lot of people, it's Pesach and the matzahs and the mar. His day is Tu B'Shvat. He has 150 types of fruit. He's not a person of means. He's a Rebbe in Yeshiva Tana. He goes to Yerushalayim, he goes all over Eretz Yisrael to get 150 fruit. You walk into this house, you've never seen anything like it. It's piles and piles of different fruits you've never seen and you've seen in different varieties, nuts and that. Kids are unbelievable. That's his, and every single one he sits and he makes a whole Misha Berach, a Sfardish, I don't know, there's probably some nusach somewhere. The Tamar is this, the Shivas, what? There's Tu B'Shvat Seder. There's a lot of people there. All right. Zok Tehillim Gemara, we're holding by Omar Mar. We have a lot to accomplish. This is a really classic daf. I advise to really take out the pens. I only have 10 minutes to do Omar daf. Zok the Gemara. Omar Mar. Zov, V'chol Zov, L'Rabbis Balkari. Yesterday we had the extra word V'chol to include a Balkari. Not only does a Zov leave 2 camps, a Balkari leaves as well. We were talking about the 3 camps. There's Shechina, Levia. Zav is included in this camp with the Balkari is included with the Zav in the middle camp. So when he becomes a Balkari, he has to leave 1, 2 camps. This is what Rabbi Yochanan says as well. Mechilois loy niskachu. The underground tunnels under the bayis, not Kodesh. Real quickly, there are people that are makbid not to go next to the kaisel. Why? Because if you look at the kaisel, each stone is, let's say, 2 centimeters inside. And it goes, let's say, 30 stones down. So it's like steps, each one. So you'll be standing directly above a stone that's underneath your feet. Because you're in mid-air. The kaisel is really 50, how many feet? 100 feet in the air or something. The stones on the bottom have Gedusha, and they come out, so you're standing over here, and this is the kaisel, and just keeps on, there's some stone underneath it, so they move back a meter. I'll go about it. If you want to go to the kaisel, and your tummy mace, that's fine, because tummy mace just has to go out of the machna shechina, but it can go, but a balkari cannot go touching the kaisel, touching this machna. So if people want to be yaitz, they have to go to a mikvah beforehand. Ubalkari mishdalech chutz l'shtei machnos, meisvei. Balkari kemaga sheretz. We have a big kasha. It says that a person who's a balkari is like a sheretz, that somebody touches a sheretz. Where is sheretz? Right over here in the red camp. Tmeimes, we learned yesterday, and the sheretz are together. That means he should just go out of one machna, not go out of the second machna. He's not like a zav. My love, the machanoisam. L'chayra means it's like a balsher, like somebody touches sheretz. He has to go out of the camp. Only one. Loi lutumaisam. That he's tummy like a sheretz. When you touch a sheretz, how long are you tummy for? 1 day. Versus 7 days. What's the big chiddush? It's mefurish in the Torah. You're only tummy 1 day. About carries only tummy 1 day. So you have to go back and say no. It means you only go back. You only go out of 1 camp. So that's a kasha. We just said 2 camps. Like a zav. Loi loilam tumaisam. Vokam ashmal on the balkari kimaga sheretz. Ma maga sheretz mitame ba'ines. No, not how many camps you go out. So this is the ratio. Balkari is like somebody that touches sheretz. We wanted to say it means that he only has to go out of 1 camp. No, red. What it really means is the green. That he's like a sheretz that in tumah. When it comes to tumah, just like a sheretz, if you touch a rat, you open up a drawer to grab a fork and you grab a rat by mistake. Or like the time I came out of my bed, we're not going to go into that story, and I stepped on a mouse trap, and there's a mouse, and I got stuck at the bottom of my foot, or whatever. It's a very, very gishmaka story. That's ba'oinus. And you become tamei. So too, about carry. It doesn't matter if it's ba'oinus. Yesterday we said a zav that jumps up and down, and he has an emission. He's not a zav. He's not the strong, but he is about carry. We said even yesterday that he's about carry in terms of tumas carry, as far as tumas carry. Fine. That's all we're trying to say here. A person who's with a nida has the tumah of like somebody touched the mace. If to say that a boil nida is tummy for 7 days, like a person who touches a mace. Of course, it's mufurish in the Torah. So a very interesting kasha. Every Baal Nida is really about carry, not true. Beginning, end, okay, we'll go a different time. Says the Gemara, here's the Sefer. Sefer is talking about a Baal Nida, is like a mace. And what? Green. That's coming to tell us like the camp. You only have to leave one camp if you're Baal Nida. Just like a person that touches a mace, one camp. So if this machna is green, so machna over here should also be green. It should be talking about camps. The Reisha, the Sefer, should be the same. So why you say it's red? We're not talking about machna, we're talking about tumah. Says the Gemara, no. Midiria. Hakidisa, v'hakidisa. The Sefer is talking about how many camps a Baal Nida has to leave. Only one. The Reisha is not talking about camps, how many camps about carry has to leave. He's talking about how much tumah he has. He's talking about ba'inus. Meisvei. Mitzayra, chamur, mizav. Here's the list. Top of the list, Mitzayra. How many camps does the Mitzayra have to leave from? All three. Even any mukav chayma, he must leave. So, in terms of this chart right over here, Mitzayra is the worst. He has to go out of the red, blue, and green. Out completely. So he's the worst. He's the most chamur. Next in line is Elzav. He only has to leave two camps. Next in line is the Tmei Meis. Only has to leave the Machne Shechina da Azara. What about Balkari? Meisvei, Mitzayra Chomer Mizav, Vizav Chomer Mitmei Meis. He goes out of two camps, and a Tmei Meis only goes out of one. Yatza Balkari, Shetmei Meis Chomer Mimenu. You know what's more Chomer? Look, if this is the weakest, Tmei Meis is the weakest, it's even more Chomer than a Balkari. For what? My love. My yotza, lav yotza, miklal zov, uba lechlal tmei meis. That he only needs to leave one camp. We just finished saying on Amud Beis that a Balkari has to leave two camps. He's like a zav. And now it seems like he only has to leave one camp. Why does he have to leave only one camp? Tmei meis, chamer mimenu. So a person that touches that body is much worse than a Balkari, and a Tmei Meis only has to leave one camp. So Balkari also has to leave one camp. Umutu b'machne levia. And a Balkari could go into the middle camp, the Levium. Loi. That's not how you read it. Pum fakert. Yotza memachne Tmei Meis, v'nichlas memachne zav. Fakert. He's not like, he's Yotza memachne Tmei Meis, v'nichlas memachne zav, v'avgad Tmei Meis chomer meno demutu memachne levia. What's a Balkari similar to? A Zav. A Zav also has an emission. They both have emission. They have tumah that comes out of their body. So Mamela, we say that Balkari is similar to a Zav, that what? He has to leave two machnois. Tanin Kamei, the Rabbi Yitzchak. V'yotza el mechutz la-machne, it says by a Balkari, he needs to leave the machna. Zu machne shchina. So Rabbi Yitzchak is learning, how do you know how many machnes one person needs to leave? Because it says, two psukim. It says within the pasuk, V'yatza mechutz machna. He should leave the machna. Which one? Shechina. So we've got to go back to this chart actually. Don't have to, but it'll be kedai. So, l'chayra, our person, this Balkari we're talking about, is right over here inside the red box. He's in the Azara. The pasuk says, "V'yatza mechutz machna." He should leave, go out. Zu machna shchina. Okay, he needs to leave one machna shchina. L'yava il teicha machna, and he should not go back into the machna. Zu machna levia. He shouldn't go into the blue. The Gemara says the wording is very, very shver. If he's standing in the red, so how can you tell him not to go into the blue? Not to go into the blue means he's already standing in the green. Do not go back into the blue. You can't tell a guy that's in the red, don't go into the blue. The only way to get to the green is to go through the blue. So don't tell him, don't go into the blue. Something's wrong. Something's off here, the way you're learning it. So first of all, the Tana that said in front of you, over here you see two machnas. Fine. Amalei, akati lo yalite, apikte. He didn't even go into the blue. You're telling him to go out. He didn't end up in the green. You're going to tell him, don't go back into the blue. The kitzer, the lashon is off. So, I have a way to fix this very, very easily. If this guy is standing not in the red, he's standing in the blue, now the pasuk makes a lot of sense. He's standing in the blue, I'm telling you, don't go into the red and go out of the blue into the green. You should go out of the blue because he's standing in the blue. You can't tell a guy to go out of the blue when he's standing in the red. No, he's standing in the blue, he's standing in Machna Leviyah. And I'm telling you, be careful, don't go back into the Azara because you're Tameh, you're Balkari. What you should do is, and the second part of the pasuk, get out of the Leviyah completely and go into the Machna Yisroel. This, over here in the green box, you could go. Okay. Maybe it is talking about the red box, the Machna Shechina. And the pasuk is telling us 2 in 1. First, he's over in Asay, and second of all, if he doesn't leave, he's also over in Alois Asay. That can't be because it says the word Machna twice. And that tells us there's 2 different camps here. Why does it say the word Machna twice? The word, that he shouldn't, if he has to go out. I hear, yeah, but you wouldn't know, it doesn't say what it is. So I wouldn't know that it means to go out into the Levi. If it just say one thing, so I'd say, okay, just don't go into the Shechina. Now that we know that it also means Levi, so you have a Kolch game, but I don't know that it means Levi. It doesn't say V'yotzim Mechutz Levi. What? Exactly. Umichu Kravav. So we had, you take the intestines, and when we learned the Mishnah, we said it means that you get the waste out of the intestines when? Even on Shabbos. Ravuna Omar, my Michuk Rav, what does it mean? Ravuna Omar, shemenakvim besakin, you puncture it with a knife, you make some holes, and the waste falls out by itself, like you give it a good kvetch and it comes out. Chia barav Omar, shirko demayu denafko, the shirko is the slime, the disgustingness that's inside it, from the intestines, the nafka, agav duchka de sakina. Remember that's when I said the story of the toothpaste, you push it out like a tube, you squeeze the tube. Okay. With a knife. This is a good picture of it. Here it's nice and flat. Here it's round. Give it a good scrape and everything starts moving. It's not that you puncture holes in it. Or lezer, my time at the barav. Where do you get this pshat? The chsiv. V'charvois meichim gorim yochelu. Charvois is a lashon of churva. Meichim, disgusting churva, smelly ones. Gorim yochelu. People that are temporary, they're there, the gerim, they're going to come and get it. They're going to get the churvis. My mashma, where do you see this? Garim like. Yeah, Gerim Mitishavim, Rashi says. No, yeah. It's spelled Garim. That's in the pasuk. The pasuk is with the comets. Yeah, it's a little interesting. But it refers to like a ger, like somebody that's not a permanent resident, a stranger. My mashma, how are you learning this pasuk? I'm talking Rav Yosef. V'nichsei hoin dirishiyaya. That's Rav Yosef explains this pasuk. The belongings of the Rishaim, these smelly people, tzadikayo yachsenun. The tzadikim are going to inherit them. Says in the pasuk, v'ro kvasim kidavram. V'ro is a lashon of to graze, to walk around and eat the grass. Kvasim is referring to Cholei Yisrael. Cholei Yisrael is going to graze kidavram. Have you ever heard of this word, kidavram? Omar Menashe bar Yerachmiel Omar Rav Kimeduber Bam. What does it mean? Like we said. So if you look at the pasuk here, we just finished reading the red. V'charvois meichim gorim yochelu. The churvas Yerushalayim, the ruins. Gorim yochelu. Who? So he learns that's the beginning of the pasuk. V'ro kvasim kidavram. Cholei Yisrael is going to graze, Kedavram, and what are they going to get? Like this end of the pasuk. They're going to get the churvos. They're going to inherit the churvos from the goyim. That's what they're going to get as a gift, as a schar. They're going to get these churvos. Look, there's an extra vav here. And what's the schar? Charvos meichem. They'll get the churvas. But But what's vicharvais? And in addition, there's something else going on here. It doesn't seem like this is a schar for this. It seems it's something else. There's a vav. Iksiv charvais. Vicharvais misachidikam. El amar Rav Avigador Rav Chanel amar Rav Domer Rav Chanel amar Rav Asidim Tzadikim Shi Chayus Hamesim. In the time of the Gemara, it said every Tana knew how to be Mechayim Mesim. I guess it means in the future, even tzaddikim of our generation in 2021, they'll be able to Mechayim Mesim. Ksiv hacha v'ro kvasim kidavram. It says the lashon v'ro to graze. Uchsiv hasam by the Tchias HaMesim, it also uses the lashon yiru bashan, referring to the Nevi'im v'gilad kimei yolam. Bashan ze Elisha habom min habashan shenema v'yanei v'shafat b'bashan. Uchsiv pa Elisha ben Shafat asher Yitzchak mayim ayidei Elio. Talking about Elisha and Elio, they were both Mechayim Mesim. Gilad Elio, Shenema v'yom Elio atishbi mitoshavei Gilad v'goymer. Anyways, so v'ra'u is referring to the tzaddikim. They'll be like Yiru Bashan, like Eliyahu Hanavi. They'll also, the tzaddikim of this generation or all generations will be able to be Mechayim Mesim. Omer Rabbi Shmuel ben Achmeni, Omer Rabbi Yonasan. Asidin tzaddikim shi Chayu Mesim. Again, same thing. Shenemar. Hold on a second. At my chasana, I wanted to impress my wife. So I got up and I sang what? This song. The only problem is, she just left the hall. I had no idea. I was trying to impress her, she was gone. I said, Nua, you like the song? I said, what song? I loved it, I don't know why. I was a big fan of Mordechai and David. I have no idea. No idea. You know what? It had less shaykhs than this song to a chasana? Me singing it. But anyway. Oy die Shmooze Shmooze Beracha Avigayil Yerachmiel Hayurechai Vayisayim I messed it up. Sorry. It's a good thing my wife didn't hear it. Unbelievable. We got to take it from the top. Now goes Nachman Seltzer solo. Hayurechai Vayisayim Hayeladim v'yeladavos misachakim. This is for you. This is for you, my wife. All right. Oh, it's such lisanus. Wow, that was terrible. Rabbi said, I apologize. Yosef, you should just erase that part immediately. Nachman has not, after I messed up that high part, he didn't want to sing with us. Terrible. I can't even go weiter. In the future, in the time of Mashiach, the Skenim and the Skenois will be sitting in the streets of Yerushalayim, in Rechavio. Vish Mishan Toi B'Yodoi. Hi. Let's go. You got to sing it. Levi. Misachakim. Yilodim v'yilodois. Misachakim. B'chai v'yiseo. Shkoyach. Now we can learn Torah. You know what it is? We haven't sang a song the entire Eruvin. The Olam is we're itching for a song. And even though there's no time, we have to sing. Fine. Anyway, in the time of Mashiach, the old men are going to be holding their sticks. It says Ish, the Marsha's Medaik, Ish. Miroi b'yomim, so old. Uchsiv, v'samto mishanti al pnei hanar. Eliyahu Navi with the staff, he gave the staff, and through the staff, they were Mechayim Mesim, or they wanted to be Mechayim Mesim. So in the time of Mashiach, that's what's going to happen through the staffs. Elisha, yeah. Ula Rami, Ksiv, Bila Hamavetz Lonetzach. In the future, Lonetzach, forever, there won't be death. Bila, it's going to be gone, it's going to be cancelled. Hamavetz, Uchsiv. So in the future, there's not going to be any death. Uchsiv, Kianar, B'meir Shana Yamus. Okay, it says that he's going to be very young. If a person dies at 100 years old, he'll be considered very young, but there's still death. Like Ashi. Can be Yisroel, can be hagun. The goyim will die. But who needs goyim then? The goyim. I mean, because you need them to shepherd the sheep. They'll take care of the vineyards. In the time of Mashiach, the moon will be gone. The sun will be embarrassed. It will be gone. It won't produce any light. No, they'll be equal. Shivosayim is a lashon of sevenfold. So 7 times 7, which is 49. 7 times 7 times 7, like times 7 days of the week. How much 7 times 7? 343. 7 times 49, sorry. 7 times 49 is 343. How do you know? Because if you go to Panovich, it's very simple. 49, you add 1, so it's 50. 50 times 7, everybody knows 50 times 7 is 350. But now that you added 1, so you added 7, because 1 times 7 is 7. So you have to take 7 off 350, 343. That's how Panovich does math. Like Kasher. Kan lo ilam haba, kan lo Mashiach. Okay. Olam haba and the Yemais HaMashiach, as we're going to see, 2 different things. Olam haba, we don't need light at all. Yemais HaMashiach is going to be light. It's going to be so strong. It'll be 343 the time of the sun. But in Olam haba, you don't need b'chla. Says Gemara, the famous Shmooze in all Shas. He constantly says, there's no difference between Yemais HaMashiach and Olam hazeh. In other words, Yemais HaMashiach is going to be Beis Hamikdash. It's not going to be, and he says, Shibin Malchuyos. We won't be subjugated, is that the word, to the goyim. But the teva is not going to change. The moon, the sun, it's all going to stay the same. So what are you telling me it's going to change? No, we're talking about Olam haba, not Yemais HaMashiach. When you're learning with Rebbe Kiva, there's going to be 343 times the amount of light from the sun. But when you're in the Machne Shechina, there's no sun at all. You don't need it. Rav Rami, contradiction. Ksiv ani omis v'achaya. Because Baruch Hu is going to kill and bring back to life. I'll wound a person and heal him. Why do you have to tell me you could heal? If HaKadosh Baruch Hu could do Tchias HaMeisim, he could heal. Says the Gemara, it's an explanation. You know how I do Tchias HaMeisim? Just like I could be marpe, then I could do Tchias HaMeisim. The focus is on Tchias HaMeisim, but like, you know that I could be mirapa, I could also do Tchias HaMeisim. Who told you this Tchias HaMeisim? Maybe HaKadosh Baruch Hu puts people in the ground, but he also is mechaya in the hospital. There's new people that are born every day. But not the person that goes into the caver, he wakes up. A person gets sick, that person is healed. The person that dies, he's the one that's going to be come l'tchias HaMeisim. Mikan tshuva lo'imrim ein tchias HaMeisim in HaTorah. A few places in Shas, we learned it in Brachas. Mikan tshuva, a different one. In Sanhedrin, we had a whole Amud or something full of proof of tchias HaMeisim. It's very important to know the proof of tchias HaMeisim. You have to believe in tchias HaMeisim. Dover acher. Batchilo mashani meimis ani mechayo v'hodar masham machatzti v'ani erpo. Amazing that there's going to be tchias HaMeisim. But the people that were nifter lo'elenu from Yenamachla, they're going to wake up with Yenamachla. The people are nifter without arms, they're going to wake up without arms. Mental disease. But then HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to change it. That's the pshat. So there's going to be Tchis HaMesim, and Enochanami afterwards comes the Refuah. It's not Refuah in the caver. People are going to come out whole. They're going to come out with all their machlas. Maybe that will be mammesh the Kiddush Hashem. You see, oh, you remember that Pliny? Look, it doesn't have a hand still. Oh, and Tamari has a hand. Returning to Daf Samach Beis, sponsored, brand new sponsor, by KesherNafshi.org or Kesher Nafshi. You can find them on KesherNafshi.org. Zechus. Listen to this. Two people that are mammesh bali chesed. Here's one. Zechus for the struggling kids in pain of Cholei Yisrael. And this is a big one, a person sponsored $1,000 to say this every day. For Refuah Shelayma for all Cholei Yisrael, especially from our MDY family. And the first one on the list is the kid that we said Tehillim for, Yerachmiel Daniel ben Tova Basha. He's the first one I noticed on the list. So he says, people, please consider joining MDY Tehillim. They have a Tehillim group at tehillim.8mindaf.com. All right, Yishkoyach, thanks for the chesed. Continue the chesed. The hektar chalovav. So we learned you could take the chayla of the imurim and put it on the mizbeach when? On Shabbos. Tanya Amar Reb Shimon, says Reb Shimon, Boirei kama chaviva mitzvah b'shaitel. Look how beautiful we could do this on Motzei Shabbos. Why do it now on Shabbos? Be Michal Shabbos. Shari hektar chalav meivarim bedorim ksherim kol halayla. You could do it after Shabbos. This is the concept of when you have a mitzvah, you go with it right now. You don't wait. You daven mincha early, etc., etc. Harkavatsi, we could go into the whole Daf Yomi thing. You have the inspiration to do the daf. You do it now. Fine. Next.
You do it at night. It's the night shir, but you do it in the morning.
You do it in the morning. You don't wait for the night shir. Harkavatsi, it says we learned three things. There's machlokes in the Mishnah. Carry an animal on Shabbos, bring an animal out of Tchum Shabbos, and cutting off a wart on Shabbos. Tanakh says you're not allowed to. Rebbe Lezer says you are. V'riminu. It says mefurish. You're not going to believe this. You know where? I'm going to say the Mishnah. Tell me where it is. Where do we learn this? In Eruvin. Well, Shkoyach. You guys are looking inside. We just learned it. It seems like months, years ago. It says you could cut a wart for the Beis Hamikdash and not outside the Beis Hamikdash. What's this? To cut a wart, the Isser of Geizes. Now, if it's a Durabanan in the Beis Hamikdash, it's not a problem, and we'll see. Vim Bekli, Kan Bekan Osir. You do it with a tool, or some scissors, something, Osir, even the Beis Hamikdash, because it's Isser Deraisa. But the Durabanan is not a problem in the Beis Hamikdash. There's no Durabanan in the Beis Hamikdash. So we have a kasha. It says that by hand you could do it. The Tanakh Bayal says you can't do it. You can't cut off a wart on Shabbos. So what do? So we have to make a distinction between Eruvin and Pesachim. We don't know which one says what. The two Mishnayos, in Pesachim and Eruvin, are both talking about the same thing. He's cutting it by hand with his thumb, whatever he's doing. The difference is if one is already dried out, it's not an Isser. So you do it in the Beis Hamikdash. And the lacha one, you don't do. No, we're talking about a full-fledged wart that's moist. Doing it by hand is not a problem in the Beis Hamikdash. It's only a shvus. And according to the Mando Omar, that makes the nafkamina between doing it with a tool and doing it by hand. Why don't you say the other pshat? It's talking about a dry one. You're allowed to. You're allowed to take off a dry wart even with a kli. It's gone. It's falling apart. It's nothing. It's not considered a malacha. It's not geizes. Interesting l'shaynis here. A little bit different style than what we usually used to. So according to the Mandamar, it says that both Mishnayos are talking about he did it by hand without a tool. And one Mishnah is talking about a dry one. That's the Mishnah Eruvin, it's mutter. Over here now, our Mishnah is talking about a moist one, it's also. My time, it's a arichas lashon kazeh. So why don't we just say they're both full-fledged, real. This makes more sense. It's a real wart, it's moist. But there's a way to do it better. Like Ash, if you do it by hand, it's mutter. Over there it already talks about kli. Why should I repeat it over here? So what's the other man that I'm going to say? Yeah, it says it over there. So why do I have to say it again over here? I want to tell you the machlokes between Rebbe Lezer and Yeshua. Rebbe Lezer over here holds that even with a kli it's mutter. Right? Rebbe Lezer is mechulk on the Tanakama says it's mutter. If I'm talking about, in our mission is talking about a kli. So in other words, he's saying that kli is mutter. Omar Rebbe Lezer umayim shchita. So there's a whole back and forth in the Mishnah. Rebbe Lezer brings a raya from shchita that's mutter to shecht an animal on. You're allowed to be over is the raisa to shecht on Shabbos. So certainly you should be able to be over is the rabbanon. Says Rebbe Shua, no, yontif yichiach. I'm allowed to do is the raisa on yontif. I'm allowed to shecht on yontif, oichel nefesh. But I'm not allowed to do is the rabbanon. So what does the Rebbe Lezer tell him? Yontif, you bring me a raya from yontif? Yontif is rishus. You want a nice steak? Okay, good. For a nice steak, you're allowed to be over is the raisa. You're not allowed to be over is the rabbanon. What was he thinking? Rabbi is a beautiful sugyas here. Mammesh, it's mammesh a matana from Shemayim, these sugyas. I was just thinking back yesterday's sugya, one of the worst for me, in terms of being saying over shir. Shem Yerachmiel. Don't ever watch it. If you didn't watch the shir yesterday, don't even watch it. Rabbi Yisroel Tamei. Domar, Simchas Yontev Nami Mitzvahi. The Simcha of Yontev is also mitzvah. Everything is a mitzvah. So in Meila, you can't say, oh, it's Rishos. To eat on Yontev, mitzvah g'dayla. The sign here, Rebbe Lezer Omer, listen to this, it's amazing. What do you do on Yontev? There's only two options. Either you eat and drink, or yoshev v'shayna, or sit and learn Torah. There are no other options. All those magazines, not going to name them, they're not an option. It's either Torah or eating. You can eat as much as you want. We'll see in a second. You have to do half and half. Half and half. Is it literally half and half? Big machlokes in the bach. So if you're Hasidish and you eat chadash, you have to go by the bach, and then you have to divide it 50-50. Literally, you have to take a stopwatch, 50% Torah, 50% this. You can't do even one fresarai extra, 51%. That's the bach. If you go like the Pri Megadim, however you want. If you go like the Mishnah Berurah, the Mishnah Berurah says a person, the way it works every single yontif, you wake up really early, you go to daven, and you learn after davening. You make kiddush, he says. You make kiddush, you eat a little bit, and then you learn all the way to mincha. When's mincha? Mincha g'dayla, early, afternoon, half the day. By chatzos, from then on, you make a huge suda. So it's actually, according to Mishnah Berurah, it seems like there's more eating than learning. By the way, Aaron Kaplan sent me yesterday a beautiful Sharat Tzion. He said, I looked it up. The end of Chelek Hey, Amud Beis in the Sharat Tzion, he says, Chazanos is not lochem, and it's not for you, it's not for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's what he says. For those who like chazanas, our shul. Chazanas is not hana for you, and it's not hana for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Chavetz Chaim. He quotes the Magen Avram. Yeah, this is Shabbos Shira this week. Mammesh, it's mammesh. You see, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is heading on. No, they canceled because they saw the Mishnah Berurah. There's no chazanas this week. V'amar Rabbi Yochanan, shnei mikra echad darshu, kosev echad oy ma'atzeres l'Hashem alikecha, kosev echad oy ma'atzeres tiye lochem. It's l'Hashem and lochem. You can do whatever you want. You can learn Torah all day long because Torah is your hana. It gives you the hana gashmi even. Like the Chazon Ish. There's nothing in this world that gives you more hana than Torah. Not because in Olam Haba it's going to be beautiful for you. Right here in this world, it's the biggest hana if you know how to learn and you enjoy it. Rabbi Shua Savar Chalkeyu. Chezi Hashem, v'chetzi lachem. Zogt the Gemara, Abam. They say Abam stands for Shavuos, Shabbos, Purim. Atzeres. So you take the first word is the first letter, the middle word is the middle letter of the middle word, Shabbos, Beis, and Mem is the last word, it's the last letter and the last word is Purim. Purim, 30 days before Purim, that's today. Omer Belozer, Akol Moedim Batzeres, the Be'inon, Nami, Lochem. What? Tezvav. Yeah. The Be'inon Nami Lochem. Hakol Moedim Batzeres on Shavuos. Here's a riddle. It's not even a riddle. Everybody knows the answer, but you have to think about it. It's going to take 10 seconds to think about it. What is the only mitzvah of the day on Shavuos midday Reisa? The only mitzvah. It's not cheesecake. It's not cheesecake. It's not learning all night. It's not what? Huh? What do you say, Krishma? What is that? Steak. Eating. This is the only mitzvah hayyim on Shavuos. Why? My time Yom Shinit B'Toirahu. It's a. My time Yom Shinit B'Toira. What's Pshat Yom Shinit B'Toira? Yom Shinit B'Toira because HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us a gift. How do you show an appreciation to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? How do you show appreciation to somebody that gives you a gift? You say thank you. You say thank you. So you have to sit down and eat a meal. That's how Rav Pinkus is masber. You have to say thank you. Omar Rabba, Hakol Moedim Shabbos Debiino Nami Lochem. Oh, on Shabbos also, my time of a Karosel Shabbos Soining. Is there anybody besides me that still says Im Toshim Shabbos Reglecha because of what we learned in the brachas?
No.
You do?
I said before.
You said before. No, I'm not looking for people like you. I'm saying people that stop saying and start saying because of the shir. From brachas. There you go. Here's at least one person. And a few more people that are watching now. Shkoyach, Gary. Purim also needs lochem. My time, you may mishta v'simcha ksibei. Mar berei Ravina, says the Gemara. So Purim needs also a lot of food. Mar berei Ravina. Kulashato havi Yosef v'tanisa. He would sit and fast every day. I saw the Bama'ar, others say, even on Shabbos. Why? And explain. Because you're allowed to fast on Shabbos if it gives you hana. So if a person, Chas v'shalom, had a bad dream, and his hana is to fast off the dream, he's mutter. That's his hana Shabbos. So he had hana learning Torah. His hana, he was living, he sustained himself through, he did intermittent fasting. We'll talk about it a different day. A few people already want to know how we do it. This, yeah, you're allowed to drink, and you're allowed to drink coffee without milk and sugar. Yeah, I'll go into a different time. Intermittent fasting, he ate at night. The whole day he didn't eat. He's learning Torah. Lebar, but there were a few days that he broke the rule. Ma'atzarta on Shvuos, Upuraya. Think about what's the connection between Shvuos, Upuraya, Purim, Umali Yom de Kippur, and Erev Yom Kippur. What's the connection? You know what the connection is? L'chayra? No, all three of them have to do with Torah. Shvuos, Matan Torah. Purim is Hadar Kiblua. They accepted the Torah again in the Me'ach HaShveirosh, Me'ah Hava, and before Yom Kippur is the second Luchas. Atzeres, Yom Shnita B'Torah, Puraya, Yemei Mishta V'Simcha Ksiv, Malay the Yom Kippur, Erev Yom Kippur, the Tanechiyah Barav Medifti, the famous halacha, everybody knows this halacha, it's a mitzvah to eat Erev Yom Kippur. V'yinisem is nafshisechem b'tisha l'chodesh. V'chitisha b'misanim, you fast on Yom Kippur. V'aloi ba'asiri misanim. Eloi melecha, kol ha'oicha v'shoyse b'tisha, b'tisha b'y, malay l'va'kosov, kilu misano, chi ba'asiri. If you eat on the 9th day, it's as if you fasted on the 9th. Question, it should just say, it's as if you ate and you did a mitzvah for eating. What does it mean that it's as if you fasted? The pshat is, I think the Marsha says this, that echod betzar memeh shloi betzar. Any mitzvah you do when you're in pain is worth 100 times. So you come to Daf Yomi when you're tired, 100 times the schar. That's what the Torah is saying. You ate, I'm going to give you like the tsar of fasting, which is 100 times more. You're not just getting schar for eating, you're getting 100 times the schar of eating. I said this already? Yeah. Rav Yosef. Oh, yeah. This is one of the famous Gemaras in Shas. Rav Yosef, Yomi that tsar to Omar, of the Igo Tilta. On Shvus, he says, give me a third-born calf. We know Rashi has two pshatim always, different pshatim. Omar, Eloi hayomer the Kogorim, if not for this day, that of Matan Torah, Kamo Yosef Ike Beshuka. I don't know how many people had a mashgiach. Kamo Yosef Ike Beshuka. No, you didn't have that guy. Oh, yeah. Here, Yosef remembers exactly what I'm talking about. Anyways, what's the pshat? If not for the Torah, Rav Yosef would be Yosef. But now that this Torah, I'm Rav Yosef, the famous Rav Yosef. It's interesting, Rav Yosef was blind. He also forgot his Torah later on. And then it says, Rav Sheshes, he was also blind. He would repeat everything he learned every 30 days. He would stand in the doorway. My neshama is so happy, so happy. I mean, this should be a song. I don't know, like some, not like the other song. We'll meant it later. On these words, these are beautiful. But these are beautiful words. It even rhymes. Loch keroi, loch tanoi, for you, Rabbi Yosef. Okay, you know what? We'll stop here because it's a beautiful shot from the Ben Yehoyada. It's already 8:03. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day. Shem alois, mi mama kim v'sicha adonai. Adonai, Shema b'koli, Dino Zerach Geshem. Mammesh Shmooze Adonai mi Amoid. Kimchas lichol leman tivorei. Yisai nugesan amshid l'dvorei cholti. Fishel Adonai mishumim boiker, shumim boiker. Fishel Adonai g'nai lechazem. Proof this is what we call it. Yisroel b'kol Yisroel and some. Amogim Rav, zum Wochen für den Schwungel. Stop. It's a good song.
You know Mrs. Sprung? John Sprung. There's this song. He's like the 12th grade rebbe in the short South. Great guy. So he made this song.
Yeah.
Great song. Eli Stefansky. Great song.
Send it to me. Great to B'Shvat. Shkoyach. Akiva, ma nishma, Akiva. You already healed from Corona? Psh, how was it? Was it bad? Not so bad for you, huh? It's good to see you. What happened? Akiva, he wants to see you. Mark Ashkenazi wants to see you. Take off the mask for a second.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Pshee. He's in base marriage to Zaycha. His mother had to drop him off in the rain. Yeah.
Rabbi Schoenberg's granddaughter got engaged.
Really? Mazel tov. Mazel tov. Rabbi Schoenberg, where is he? He's on?
I think he left.
Yeah, okay. I saw somebody by the name of Reb Isser Koznitz or something, where's he from? Does anybody know?